Excuse me, folks.
Speaking of the power behind the throne, she came to America. And like I said, I started out over 30 years working for this party. I grew up in a neighborhood where I saw the effects of liberalism all around us. The schools got worse and crime got worse. And we kept voting for the same people over and over again. We kept going to jail. Councilman goes to jail, congressman goes to jail, another councilman, state senator. And I said to my father early on, why do we keep voting for these people? And then I got to meet Ronald Reagan in the Italian market. I've been in the Republican Party ever since. I never looked back. As soon as I was able to volunteer, I did. I became a young Republican and a committee man. And that's one thing I want to emphasize. For those of you who are committee people, thank you. I love the committee people around the state. For those of you who are not, Gail needs you. We need to fill committee spots. It's not enough just to come to a breakfast. If you care about this party, this state, this nation, volunteer to be a committee person. It's not that strenuous a job. But you'll be leading your neighborhood, your precinct, you'll be there at the polls for your candidates on election day. I implore you to step up, volunteer, and help Gail and help our party. And it's a big year. You know, it's an off-year election year. A lot of people don't care. There's no governor's race, there's no president's race. But what we have at stake this year is the third branch of government. We've got a Supreme Court candidate running. She's running for she's Justice Mundy, Sally Mundy. She's on the court now. And we've got 6 appellate courts candidates running, including one of them here today, Paul Allen, an outstanding candidate. So why are the courts important? Why do we care? We have 121 state representatives and 34 state senators, the largest majorities since the 50s. That's due to a lot of hard work. And we're going to get a Republican governor next year. And when we do, that's right. When we do, we're finally going to get a real pension reform bill. We're finally going to reform education. Maybe get a paycheck protection bill so that government doesn't have to collect union dues, which go for political purposes anyway. All that will be for nothing in a government union, trial lawyer controlled Supreme Court. All that will be stricken down. All of that good work. So if you care about those issues and you want to support your state representatives like Aaron Bernstein who's here, we need to make sure we elect a Supreme Court candidate in all the row offices from the Republican side, all the other appellate courts from the Republican side this year. Both read the same Bible and pray to the same God, and each invokes his aid against the other. It may seem strange that any man should dare to ask a just God's assistance in wringing their bread from the sweat of other men's faces. But let us judge not, that we not be judged. The Almighty has his own purposes. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to the man by whom the offense cometh. If we shall suppose that American slavery is one of those offenses which, in the providence of God, must needs come, but which, having continued through his appointed time, he now wills to remove, and that he gives to both north and south this terrible war, as the woe due to those by whom the offense came, shall we discern therein any departure from those divine attributes which the believers in a living God always ascribe to him? Fondly do we hope and fervently do we pray that this mighty scourge of war may speedily pass away. Yet if God wills it, let it continue until all the wealth piled by the bondsman's 250 years of unrequited toil shall be sunk, and every drop of blood drawn with the lash shall be paid by another drawn with the sword. As was said 3,000 years ago, so it must still be said. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. That's remarkable in a number of ways. Abraham Lincoln understood, because he was an avid reader, as we all know. He knew nothing more than to get a book. But of all the books he read, the Bible was the one he cherished the most, and he read it repeatedly. And he understands that a nation that strays from morality, that strays from God, will suffer the consequences. It's karma. Some people call it karma. And you don't hear our leaders talk like that. The other thing I find remarkable about what he says here is that despite the fact that the country had suffered, because the South had waged war, and that he had suffered greatly, and that it was ironic that the other side, who was enslaving other men, would invoke God's help in winning that war. He said, "Judge not, lest ye be judged," like Jesus Christ said 2,000 years ago. And then he ends the speech with, as we all know this quote, "With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, and to do all which may achieve and cherish and just and lasting peace among ourselves with all nations." So Lincoln, despite the fact that the country had suffered because the South had waged war with the rest of the nation, didn't want vengeance. When a lot of people were calling for folks to be hanged for treason, he said to the South, "You can take your guns and go home, go back to your farms. You can even run for the legislature when we reconstitute the legislature. We don't want vengeance. We want a united country." We are now in a time in this nation where it is divided as ever, except for that civil war. And the thing I struggle with as a leader of the Republican Party is I know we're in a cultural war. We're in a war for the soul of the United States of America. We see them trying to indoctrinate our children, tell them that socialism is somehow better. And we have a message here: free markets, capitalism, opportunity, work. Over 200 million people have been lifted out of extreme poverty around the world in the last decade because of free markets, not because of government. But yet we're in a war for the minds of our millennials. So how do we conduct ourselves going forward? It's a challenge because we have to unite the country at the same time as we get our message out. It's something I'm struggling with because I want to fight. My instinct is always to fight and fight hard and push back. It's like Donald Trump. Somebody punches you, you got to punch him back. But we have to be mindful of the fact we need to bring other people into this party who are Democrats, our neighbors. So we need to bring out the facts. We have to show them that we care. We have to tell them what our message is, but continue to fight. And we can do that together. We can have a great year, go 7 for 7 with our judges in 2017, and use that momentum to elect a Republican government next year. But do so at all times with love in our hearts, love and patriotism. As Donald Trump said, if you have patriotism, it crowds out any prejudice, any racism. So the love of country, love of God, and that's how we do it together. Gail, I want to thank you for having me here today. It's a wonderful crowd. Good luck to you all.
Here's his wife, Carolina, and it was an honor to have him here. As he said in his words about Lincoln, our way of life's under attack. To make this country great is under attack. There's a different philosophy out there. It's not the one it's a country founded under God with the forefathers intended. So I think those words are wise. What's even more important is I look in every one of your faces and your eyes, you need to realize you are individuals that make a difference. We weren't able to achieve anything here if it wasn't for each of you. If these petitions here running for school board supervisors and different positions, why are they important? Because you're part of your community. You as committee people and those that want to get involved, I need committee people to represent your neighborhood. It's a very simple process. That's all you need to do is talk to the people in your neighborhood, know what's going on, and tell them the facts. Let them know what the truth is. You hear it on the news, you see, everybody sees what's going on. And finally, I think there was a speech given by Mayor Giuliani at the convention that I was privileged to be at. And he said, where are the Americans? We are Americans. And there are good Americans that are Democrat, Independents, and Republicans. A lot of those people are in the far left extremes, or maybe the far right. But the fact is, people finally figured it out. That's why we're where we're at, I believe. I think that's why Trump won and across our area, county, and the state of Pennsylvania was a key state in finding our way back home to what makes America great. And I think we have a good future with Val's leadership, and he has a lot of work ahead of him to pull everybody together in each of these counties. We're a big state. He took 5 hours to get here. It's not a simple state to run around. So I look forward to working with him and making sure that I can provide whatever I need to do to be a good leader in our community and making sure he can able to communicate amongst the state of Pennsylvania to get the people to think like we do, to serve. So we thank you very much, and we bless you